It is Tuesday, October 13th, 2020, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. With many racing seasons coming to an end, ride swapping and silly season was certainly on the horizon. We just didn't expect it to jump off quite like it did yesterday. There are a bunch of news items, so let's go through them as they were announced and get you up to speed on the changes. First up, we learned that Kyle Larson will be at Springfield this weekend for the USAC Silver Crown race. We actually mentioned that on the show yesterday as well. Shortly after that, we learned that Christopher Bell will be back in a midget this week, running the Donnie Ray Crawford Sooner State 55 at Port City Raceway this coming Thursday as well. So a couple of ride announcements there. We talked yesterday on the show about David Gravel's plans for the weekend, with him going to Kansas to run the NASCAR truck race. We knew he wouldn't race Saturday night at Lake Ozark, and him not running Friday night at Lakeside was also a distinct possibility. The other two times that's happened this year, Parker Price Miller has filled in driving the 41, hopping over from the 14 Dietz Motorsports car that he's been driving all season. So we naturally assumed that would be the case again. But during the afternoon yesterday, JJR announced that Shane Stewart would pilot the 41 for both of those races, filling in for Gravel, while PPM would drive a 141 numbered car. It was an interesting move, but not surprising given Stewart's experience. The JJR 41 team is battling for that team championship right now with the Outlaws. In late model news, Hudson O'Neal announced a new ride for 2021, joining Double Down Motorsports to run the full Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series season next year. The team, which has fielded a car for Shannon Buckingham full-time with Lucas in 2019 and for much of the 2020 season, will still run a second car in regional races with Robbie Moses at the wheel. Double Down also announced they will switch from Longhorn chassis to Rockets for next season to keep Hudson comfortable, and the car will be number 71. As the day continued, the news just kept coming yesterday. After finishing fourth in the final points and taking home All-Star Rookie of the Year, Zeb Wise announced he was parting ways with Sam McGee Motorsports and would be looking for a ride for remaining 2020 races and 2021. In 44 starts this season with the All-Stars, Wise has 3 top 5s, 19 top 10s, and an average finish of 12.5. His best finish of the season came at 81 Speedway back in June, where he finished second to Kyle Larson. Wise also made 4 outlaw attempts this year. On the heels of Wise's move, Sam McGee Motorsports then announced that Ian Madsen would pilot the number 11 for the remainder of 2020, with them expected to compete in several World of Outlaws shows to close the year. Madsen had been running Josh Boffman's 17 machine in select All-Star events recently. On Friday night at Fremont, he led 26 of the 35 laps before settling for 4th, and Saturday was caught up in a crash after starting on the front row. So again, Wise out, Madsen in the McGee 11. Even though we won't see David Gravel in World of Outlaws competition this weekend, we will still see him in a dirt race this weekend. Following Saturday at Kansas, we found out that Gravel will head to the Illinois State Fairgrounds on Sunday to make his Silver Crown Series debut, running the Swanson Encore team number 21. The team had inquired about Gravel driving for them earlier in the year, but they just couldn't make it work. With Gravel out of the sprint car this weekend, it was the perfect opportunity to make that happen. It will be interesting to watch, I think. Gravel has not even yet sat in a Silver Crown car, so he's a talented driver. Will have some practice and qualifying and things like that to get himself up to speed. So I would imagine he will be a fairly strong runner on Sunday, even though he hasn't been in one of those cars yet. Another full-time All-Star competitor announced a departure from his team yesterday as well, with Paul McMahon stepping out of the Buick 13 after a few seasons together. In a Facebook post, McMahon said the split was amicable and that sponsor money was an issue. He is looking for opportunities for 2021. He said he's not ready to hang it up just yet. McMahon ended 2020 4th in the All-Star point standings. He had 8 top 5s and 22 top 10s in 46 starts this season. His average finish was 11.9, with a best finish of 2nd at Fremont in July during Ohio Sprint Speed Week. McMahon also finished top 5 in All-Star points in 2019 with the 13 team. It'll be interesting to see what happens there, whether Paul is able to find a ride and whether that 13 team will continue if they find someone else here going forward. And then to cap off the day, we found out that Parker Price Miller was departing JJR and Philip Dietz and will be piloting the 71P for Bernie at Indy Race Parts for the rest of 2020. Shane Stewart has run a bunch of races with Bernie this season, and he will be actually back in the Indy Race Parts 71 following this weekend as a team car with Parker Price Miller. So it was somehow between about 2:30 p.m. yesterday afternoon and about 8:30 p.m. Eastern, things went south between PPM and Dietz and JJR, and Parker ended up departing the 14 ride, which he's been in for most of this season. We'll keep an eye out to see if the Dietz team fills the 14 seat for any of the remaining races, or if they would just put that car on the shelf and focus on the 41 for the final 5 races. Like I said, they are trying to get into that championship spot for the team points, with Gravel having missed races earlier in the year to kind of get his NASCAR season going. They're not going to win the driver championship, but they are still eligible for the team championship, as the 41 has made all the starts. And before this last weekend, they were actually leading those team points. They're back a little bit right now, but still have plenty of races and plenty of opportunities to jump back in the points lead there. So we'll keep you posted as we know more there. So to recap, here's all of the things we learned yesterday. Hudson O'Neal will be in a number 71 rocket for Double Down Motorsports in 2020 full-time with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Shane Stewart will drive the JJR 41 this weekend in both World of Outlaws shows, filling in for David Gravel before returning to the Indy Race Parts 71. Parker Price Miller will drive the Indy Race Parts 71P starting this weekend through the end of the year. He is out of the Dietz Motorsports 14. Zeb Wise is out of the McGee 11. Ian Madsen is in for the remainder of the season. Wise is on the hunt for a new team, and Paul McMahon is out of the Buick 13, with McMahon also searching for a new ride for 2021. So very busy day yesterday, lots of stuff happening. Just wanted to kind of run through all of those things, get you up to speed, keep you abreast of all of the things that happened yesterday. Things certainly changed quickly. Yesterday was a perfect example of that. I'm sure we're not done with movement and changes for this season and, for the rest of the season and kind of heading into next season. So stay tuned on all of that. We will certainly keep you posted on all of those things as they happen here on the show. A couple of quick notes about DIRTRACKR.com today before we close up. First, in the analytics section, each series and each year for each series now show a new stat. It's called win count per start position. It's basically a listing of what the starting position was for all winners for either all of the races that I have entered or for the individual years. So for example, 15 Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series wins this year have come from the pole, and we've had one winner come from 20th. Basically what you'll see is a list of all of the start positions with the number of wins for that start position. You can find that at dirttracker.com/analytics on all of the individual series pages. Also, there have been some changes to the podcast page. We've added a few new shows. First up, the Rip the Fence reincarnation at Flow Racing. That's now Loud Pedal is now available at dirttracker.com/podcasts, as is Passing Points and the Midwest Autosports podcasts. So a couple of new shows added there. The full total of Dirt Racing podcasts on that page is now 13 shows. So all kinds of new content coming out all of the time. If you're looking for audio to check out some Dirt Racing audio, you can certainly find it there. It will be a good place to start. If you know of other Dirt Racing podcasts, please let me know. Tweet me, DM me, info@dirttracker.com. Let me know and we will get those added there as well. That's it for the show today. Hope everybody has a good Tuesday. You can find DIRTRACKR Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe and leave a review. You can also watch the show every day on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com, and you can follow along at facebook.com/dirttracker, twitter.com/dirttracker, and the website itself, dirttracker.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler, and don't forget to sign up for the Dirt Tracker weekly newsletter. That's it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more DIRTRACKR Daily.